morning. Welcome to Songbird Homestead. I'm Kimberly. I'm happy to have you here with me this morning. I am a backyard-ish homesteader on just about 3/4 of an acre up in the town on area of Northeast Maryland. That's the name of the town and that's where it's at. We're just about the top northern part of Maryland, eastern part of Maryland, almost so it's right at the Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland junction. We've been here for a little over a year. It is Zone 7B. Gosh, we moved here midsummer of last year, so we did just finish our first full summer. Yesterday was Labor Day, and it's funny because it's like Labor Day hits, school starts, and all of a sudden the temperatures drop. So it's a very nice, I'm going to say it's probably about 68 or so degrees this morning, which is nice. I'm normally out here in a tank top sweating. I have sleeves on. Now they're short sleeves, but the fact that I have sleeves on at all tells you, that the temperature is indeed starting to, lower a little bit, which is nice. We've had our air off, a bunch of times this, in the last couple of weeks. We just turned the air off for days at a time, which has been really nice. Now there are some days that it's been still, 90, whatever. It was hot last week, I think it was, and we did have to have the AC on. But for the most part, we can tell fall's starting and summer is saying goodbye a little bit. I mean, we still have a lot of growing time left, which is good. But yeah, I can tell that the season's starting to change. My husband loves fall. He gets so excited when he starts seeing the leaf change. We're not quite there yet. You can see the trees in the back, but I know he'll be excited when the leaves start to change. We've seen some leaves falling, but I think they're just dead leaves. They're not really falling because it's fall. But anyway, I'm happy to have you here. I figured I'd do a little garden tour, check in on things, and I'm just video it while I go along. My herb bed, you can see, oh my gosh, I have let this basil just go completely to seed. That's my lemon basil. I am going to cut all of this off. I am trying to save a lot more seeds than I have in the past. This is a regular Genovese basil, but you can see, but there's still a lot of basil in there for cooking and stuff. So I am going to harvest a bunch of those seeds. I'm going to trim that back. Bees everywhere. My mints. The herb garden was very prolific this year, and I think every year, let's see, here's my thyme. Every year it's going to get better. I tried to sow some cilantro here last week, but it's just not, I don't know, it just won't. It likes to volunteer where I don't want it, and then when I try to plant it, forget about it. So I'm struggling with this hat because like this, I feel like you can't see my eyeballs. But if I take it up, I'm squinty. So one of the things that I really wanted to do at our old, before we moved, and I had put it in the year before we moved, was an herb tea garden. So I had an herb garden that I kind of started, gosh, I'm guessing it was 2022, spring of 2022. And it did well, and then 23 we moved, or maybe it was 21. I think 21 I started the herb garden. 22 I wanted to put a tea garden in, and we moved 23. So my herbs have never really been in one place for all that long of a time. So I think what's happened now, the fact that they're in the ground and they've been allowed to stay there, I'm letting my, my oregano, my rosemary, those types of things, my thyme, those plants can stay in there all year. And they really wintered over very well here. So what's happening is they're bigger than they were in the past. Like my oregano, like this guy here, it's huge, and they're really starting to like blend in with each other, which is pretty cool. Like I really like that wild, unruly, look about a garden. Like I like when everything's kind of like, I don't like it all picture perfect and I don't know. And that's fine for, if that's what you like. But I like my stuff, like my herb garden's just, you saw, it's everywhere. And speaking of everywhere, let me show you this what's happening over here. Yeah, so these are my 8 raised beds where I put mostly peppers and some other things. Here's my celery. I have a couple of celeries. Oh, I have my kale. I just started this. I have a little to get this out of here. But this is some kale that I'm growing. Yeah, that's a mess. Let's see if I can get that up. I call that wiregrass. I don't know, maybe it has a different name. Oh, look, here's a baby carrot that... Oh, look how cute that is. Nice. I'll throw that in my basket. But mainly this is just peppers and some tomatoes. Look. What is this? Look at this mess. I have tons of tomatoes in here that I need to pick. My husband tried to stake this up, but I don't think he quite realized that was going to be a futile effort. But you can tell we've had a lot of heat. We've had a lot of rain. It's August. I haven't had as much time. So this is like a disaster. Oh, but I think this happens every year. I think every year by the time the heat and the sun and the time gets away from you, you know, this is what we end up with. But these beds, I love these beds. And this is where we do eat a lot of peppers. Let's see. Yeah, we eat a lot of peppers. So I'm surprised the chicks aren't. Yeah, they probably want to come out, but we eat a lot of peppers. So I like to put these in an area. Our house is just right there. So I like to be able to come out and just grab some peppers and a couple tomatoes if I want. Of course, the herbs, I like to keep them close so that they can, you know, that they're easily accessible. Definitely, if you're going to put a garden, I definitely recommend, you know, and anyone will tell you that the things that you're going to use and harvest the most often, you know, you should plant closer to your house. It's zone gardening, I think it's called. I just do it because it makes sense. But yeah, I'm going to pick some of these things while we're out here. Ooh, look. If you've been watching me for any time, you'll know that peppers were our gateway vegetable. This is a hot. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's a hot banana wax pepper, or Hungarian wax banana pepper or something. I don't know. They're really good. And this plant has been putting out this year. But like I was saying, so peppers were our gateway produce into, our gateway plant into really getting started in this lifestyle. Sorry, I gotta fix my hair. My husband loves, you know, he loves peppers, so I grew them for him one time, and he, you know, was really impressed with the flavor and just, you know, the heat factor. So you know, so then I just started. We put a bed in when COVID hit, and next thing you know, one thing led to another. I mean, we didn't start off with the intention of being backyard homesteaders. I mean, we definitely, once we started, we saw the benefits of this lifestyle. You know, him, I already knew. I had already had some experience with this previously. Not really this, but just exposure to it. You know, so I already knew the benefits. He didn't. But once we started, you know, one thing led to another, just like anything else. It's, you know, it's baby steps. You know, we didn't plan on, okay, one day we're going to own, you know, just under a quarter or under an acre up in, you know, this area. We lived in a kind of like near the Baltimore city line, and not a great area. Certainly there's been a lot of growth and awareness of this kind of lifestyle. They did recently pass a law saying that you could have backyard chickens, I think, and there's some growth and some awareness happening there, which is really cool. But you know, where we were, we weren't around it, we didn't see it, but we knew, you know, as we started to get into it, we started to want it more and more. There's so many benefits that have come with it that, you know, it just continued to move us in that direction. You know, and I'm always, you know, you see the question online, you know, what is a homesteader? You know, there's lots and lots of answers to that. You know, I feel like for everyone it's going to mean something different, right? But I don't know at what point I considered, well, I can answer that question now. I've always said I don't know at what point I would consider myself a homesteader. Jalapenos, yeah, these are great. My husband, I don't want to make him some salsa verde today. He does love that. But for me, I'm always like, well, there was no aha. And I was talking to one of my daughters about this. I have 2 daughters, adult daughters. I was gonna say in their 20s, but no, my one daughter just turned 30 earlier this year. But regardless, I was talking to her about, you know, how sometimes you find yourself in a position where you don't really, you have a mindset about something or a goal, and you know, it's not like one day you're gonna like snap your fingers and boom, you've accomplished this goal. There's such a journey, and there's so many steps leading up to that. Like I didn't know, for me, a homesteading, I'm like, when am I gonna feel like a homesteader? When is that gonna happen? When am I actually gonna like, okay, is it when we, you know, made our first bed? You know, is it when I got my first cast iron? Is it when I planted, you know, like I said, the first vegetable bed? Or, you know, when I canned something for the first time? Was it when we bought X amount of property? Or was it when we got our chickens? Was it when we laid our first egg? Well, we didn't lay the egg, when our chickens laid the first egg, which I will tell you, for me, so our girls, we do have a flock of girls, I'm gonna let them out in a minute. They just started laying last week. Well, we have one that I think has been laying daily. So we found a couple of eggs one day. We had been checking the nesting box, found a couple of eggs, and the next day we found we're checking the nesting box, then we found a couple of eggs not in the nesting box over in the one corner. And then Saturday, I found a single egg in the nesting box, and then my husband found one yesterday. So we do have, I think, one girl who's laying regularly. One of our olive acres is laying green eggs, which is pretty cool. So I did drop one of the eggs, so the other 4 they're tiny because it's her first eggs. So my husband, I let him have those. Yeah, he made an egg. He scrambled them up and ate them on an egg sandwich, which was pretty cool. Egg and cheese on sourdough, I think it was. So anyway, so it was really cool. So for me, I will tell you, I'll admit, like I had tears in my eyes. I was so excited because for me, it was that moment that I felt like we're homesteading. Even though I've been saying it and I've been feeling it like we are, but for me, it was I don't know, I just got very emotional about it, you know, thinking about it. But it really wasn't that particular thing. It's all the things that I've done that have led up to that, you know, to that moment that got us there, which is really, really exciting. So yeah, we're really excited. But you know, it's a journey. It's different for everybody. You know, not everyone's going to have the same journey. I'm going to grab some of these. Let's turn this around. I have some San Marzanos in here. You can hear the cars. Evidently, we didn't move far enough away into the country to get rid of, you know, we have a lot of motorcycles around here, which I don't mind motorcycles, but sometimes they're so loud. But yeah, just some tomatoes I'm gonna pick. But yeah, I'm gonna just go through and pick some of this stuff, and then you know, I'll show you some other beds. Look at that. I did pick a couple of my eggplants. This is a Black Beauty. I could have let him get a little bit bigger, but I didn't. And this is the, I think, Ichabod. I never know how to say it, but that's what I've started calling it, the Japanese eggplant. And then this, I didn't even see, these were from this plant here, which is kind of gnarly, but these were all tucked underneath. So that's really, I'm really happy with that. These are my San Marzanos. They'll be great for sauce. Sometimes I'll slice them and put them on pizza too. Not too bad for one little plant. All right, I got my basket. The problem with getting a bigger basket is it gets heavier and heavier, but this is nice. I tend to get all my baskets. I've had people ask me where I get my baskets from. There's a place not too far, well, it's about an hour from me now because we moved, but it's called Savers. It's on Joppa Road in Maryland, whatever. But that's where I get all my baskets. This was like $2.99, I think, and it's a really nice, look at that. That's incredible. I just love it. Very well made. You know, they have different things. Anyway, it's like a thrift store type. I guess it's like a Goodwill, but it's not. But anyway, yeah, that's where I get all my baskets from. Let me come over here and got some more things here. Look at that. All right, I'm gonna go let them out. Okay, you wanna come out? Come on. Let's go. Smile for the camera. I know, I said I'd let you out in a little bit. Here we are. Here are those beds from the other side. This is atrocious looking, but it's still putting out flowers. And I like to pick flowers for bouquets in my kitchen. Oh, I think I got sidetracked. Yep, this is where I was. It's another pepper. Again, we like a lot of peppers. So we grow a lot of peppers and we eat a lot of peppers, but we do have a lot of peppers left over, if you will. So what I usually end up doing is just freezing them. Now these guys, I don't have a lot on here because I did just pick these yesterday, but these are cayennes. Oh, just knocked one off. So these are cayennes and these will turn red. These are what I actually do is I will thread these with fishing wire or fishing line and string them in my kitchen, and then they dry naturally. And then all off season in the winter, my husband just picks these off and he just picks them off and eats them, throws them in his lunch, whatever. I like jalapenos and I'll do a little bit of cayenne, but I don't eat peppers like that. Like, look at this guy. I don't want to pick him up because he's gonna fall off. But yeah, and they get in here like this time of the year is when they really start getting thick in there. Peppers take a long time to grow, but that's okay. Like I said, in the off season, we just go ahead and, I have ways to preserve them. I did grind some that I dried last year. I ground them up and mixed them with, I think it was a sugar and a vinegar mixture, and cooked it off, and then I canned them. It makes it's a Thai sweet spicy dipping sauce. Really, really yummy. Next up, Tomato Junction. Put my basket down. You can tell it's August by the way my tomatoes look. Look at that. I mean, all my beds really have they're expressing themselves. But normally these are very well pruned and just, I don't know. Well, I don't really need to weed out because there's so many tomatoes plants growing that the weeds really have even the weeds gave up on this bed. But this is a Dad's Sunset. I think it's called Dad's Sunset. This is an heirloom tomato. I love it. They smell so good. I've only just started eating tomatoes this year, but you can see they're in here. I mean, I have the tomatoes in here, but they're just not ripening the way I wanted them to. Oh, here's one. See, that's good. Now, I could leave that on there, but we do have a groundhog that likes to come and help himself, and I'm okay with that. Beautiful. But anyway, so I'm okay with the groundhog getting some. It's only one groundhog. We don't have like a whole bunch, and the rabbits haven't. I don't know. I have seen baby rabbits here, but for the most part, we don't have a lot of rabbits and that kind of stuff, or squirrels that mess with this stuff. But yeah, but the tomatoes are in here, but they're just not ripening the way I wanted to. And I think it's just because it's been too hot. So I really didn't get the tomatoes that I wanted this year. I think next year I'm going to do another bed exactly like this, because I like to put up salsa and sauces and that kind of thing. I do still have some sauce from last year, some I think it's a habanero barbecue sauce that I made last year. I do still have some jars, like maybe 10 jars of that left, surprisingly. But I'm probably going to have to, truth be told, go buy some boxes of tomatoes. We have a local farm that has them, so I went and got, I think, a couple boxes last year and made my some stuff from that. We just don't have the tomatoes. Last year we had just moved, so we just didn't get it all in there. Woo. So this year I just didn't get the tomatoes that I wanted. This guy is starting to turn, but yeah, you can see. Look, like what a there's so much in here. Like I said, there's tomatoes. There's a whole bunch right here, but that's okay. This is my lemon drop tomato down here. Oh, I keep hitting the thing, sorry. This is a lemon drop tomato. I have not one tomato has come off of that. I don't know what the story is. I mean, they're on there, but nothing's ripening, so it might be something to do with my soil too. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that, but we've had enough to eat like through the season, which is cool. Some more bees. I have so many bees, guys. So one thing that was important to me, let's get out of this tomato jungle. One thing that's important to me that I really try to make a very conscious effort on is creating an environment that's pollinator. Let's get this guy up here. Oh, woo. Woo. That's pollinator friendly. That means we don't spray anything. I don't use even fertilizer for positive, like to enhance growth. I just don't do it. Oh, they're up on my deck. I see you. Sassy. Stevie chicks. What are you doing? Oh, they know their name. Here they come. But, even fertilizer to promote growth, I just don't use it. And we definitely don't spray or use any chemicals. We have been zero chemicals. I mean, even at our old place, we didn't use chemicals, which I think it really makes a difference. And I think it's the kind of thing that you really don't see the effect from immediately. I think it takes a while to improve your soil naturally and get because there's good pests and bad pests. And I think that it takes a while to build up a community of good pests that are going to prey on your bad pests. And I think that's where we're at finally. I had squash bugs this year. When I do see pests, I usually just pick them off. I hand pick them. But, we don't use any chemicals. And one of the reasons for that is because, if you spray a chemical, it's going to kill your good pests and your bad pests, right? So it's going to kill your aphids and your ladybugs. And, they can kind of take care of themselves, the ecosystem and all that. So we don't spray anything. And something I do to invite the pollinators in, I'm going to show you this. I grow lots and lots of, well, not lots and lots, but I grow lots of flowers, especially zinnias. We get hummingbirds, finches, bees, all kinds of stuff. Chicks, what are you guys doing down here? And why are you, yep, right through the strawberries. You guys are so funny. Oh my gosh. Why are you in with my blueberries? You two rebels. You're savages. You're savages. Yep. Speaking of pollinators, let's walk over here. This is actually my little pollinator garden. Now, I do want to expand. Now that we've taken this fence down, the fence was here. I want to make this here. I'm going to go, further around. It'll be like a half moon. And this is a perennial garden. This stuff comes back this year. I have some lilies, some Asiatic lilies, calla lilies. I have foxglove, which I have to watch my girls, and I think that's toxic to them. My daughter gave me these. I think these are dahlias, if I'm not mistaken. Some yarrow in there. Some milkweed. These are, oh gosh, I forget the name of these. What is this? I know it. I did buy these. These are, where are we at? An allium. Yeah, right. I knew that. Oh gosh. An allium. Yep. Coneflower. I bought these when I moved in last year. I bought this. And it's really lovely when it's all blooming. But anyway, little thing for water. My bee hut. It is certified. But yeah, pollinators is very important. So yeah, pollinators are very important. That's our food, and so many of our plant species are perpetuated due to pollinators. Like if we didn't have pollinators, we would probably starve. And I know people think that's dramatic, but it's the truth. Strawberry bed. girls. You guys don't usually come over here. What's happening? You guys found a new area? Hmm? It's my watermelon bed. This has been a very successful bed. I have one there, and we've been picking this. This is Italian parsley, which I wanted a little bit, you know, gosh, a little bit goes a long way. I have that one. I have this one. We don't even, my husband wanted parsley. I don't know why. I don't even use parsley, to be quite honest, but that's a tomatillo, which is doing nothing. Yep, here's a watermelon. You know what? I'm going to get this guy out of here. I'm going to try to. It's a Cajo melon. It's supposed to be about that size. Let's see. Know what I'm having for lunch? So now I'm over here. This is my last big bed. I do have some smaller beds, and I have my fruit trees. Gosh, I don't have berry bushes like on the outside of our property, or the outside of like the fenced-in part. But this is my trellis bed. This is pretty much done for this season. But the problem is, and you'll see here, I thought this was done. I came out and I was gonna rip out, you know, all these plants, but this guy keeps putting out beans. So I don't want to, you know, rip these out because I'm still getting stuff off of them, but it's just strange. Yep. So I'm going to leave that in there. Now this bed, let's see, let me show you this. So this is where I had my cucumbers and I had some melons and stuff, but this, woohoo, that is my loofah. So for those that don't know, loofah, I know a lot of people are like, wasn't that the bath scrubber thing? Yeah. So once you grow these, and this is how it grows, and you can eat these when they're small. Once they start growing, it's amazing how fast they grow. Like these guys yesterday were probably half the size, and I'm not even exaggerating. And then once they get to a certain size, oh boy. Look at that. Like, I know that's every bit 2.5 feet long. But what you'll do is, let me, oh, you have a little dog. Oh, hello. So what you do, you dry them, you peel them, and then you dry them, and then you slice them, and you have the loofah scrubbing thing for the shower, which we did that a couple years ago. I didn't do it last year. I didn't have this trellis we just put up this year, this beginning of the spring. But yeah, the loofah, it's amazing, and you don't have to buy those scrubby things, whatever. I also have, let's see, I have acorn squash in here. I had a box of COVID masks in my basement that I didn't really realize, so I used it for that. Bitter melon. I've never had bitter melon. I've heard I'm in for a treat. I don't know, the person that said that, they kind of was like tongue-in-cheek. So, you know, we're gonna try that. I have a couple of them growing, but yeah. But anyway, regardless, this is where I had I had my beans. I had a trellis with cucumbers on it, and then melons. I did get a bunch of watermelon out of this bed, which was pretty exciting. Watermelon, and then I also had cantaloupe here, and I have another celery. Let me show you my celery. So this is, as you can see, you can read, my celery. My grandson and I planted this in the spring, but I always thought celery was hard to grow. I think I have this celery, and then I have a couple other ones. So last year was the first year that I grew celery. I got it in a plant swap last year, and I put it in, and I actually kind of forgot about it, and I had it grew big. I mean, I knew it was there, but I didn't really pay any attention. I didn't really give it any special care because I thought celery was kind of difficult to grow. That's kind of what I don't know, my brain, I don't know why I thought that, but that's what I thought. But what I did with this one and what I did with the other celery is I think it can get hot, like too hot, like if the heat's too much for it. It doesn't do so well because it's such a high liquid, has a lot of moisture content in it. So I think it needs lots of moisture, and I think the heat can be bad for it. So what I did was I planted it here. I had beans next to it, and that kind of sheltered it while it was small. And then as it got bigger, I pulled the beans out, and now it's big enough. But we made last year for Thanksgiving, that's when I really started using it in the fall for like soup, for our stuffing, for our Thanksgiving dinner. I was over the moon. It was one of those, just a very sweet moment for me to be able to, I grew, the sage, and I grew the celery for it. And it smells so good. It was the taste when you grow homegrown stuff, and you use it to cook with, it's such a big difference that it's unlike, buying stuff from the store or whatever. But anyway, that's my celery. I had dill out here. I don't want to touch these guys too much, but do you see this? That's all my little dill seeds. I'm saving that. That's mammoth dill, and it got pretty tall. It got to be like probably up to my shoulders or so. But that's my dill. I'm saving that seed for next year. I'm really, like I said, this year I'm really trying to be a little more intentional about, saving seeds and letting stuff ripen and get, extra ripe on the plant itself. Like these beans, if you crack these open, you can see the beans are inside. So I'm going to use them for next year. Now I can probably I drop them on the ground. I'm probably gonna have beans growing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm gonna have beans everywhere. And this, I planted probably, like these cattle panels are I think they're 50 inches. So I think they're just over 4 feet. I did probably 1, 2, 3, maybe 6 or so. That was too many. We got a lot of beans out here. We ate them. I've already frozen a bunch. I'm still getting beans. But what I came over here to talk about, show you my little project here. Let's see. So this bed, this is where I had my zucchini. I had like 3 big zucchini plants here, and this was all watermelon. My husband and I weeded this out yesterday. It didn't have a lot of weeds, but it had some of that wiregrass I was talking about. You can see we still have watermelon that's still growing. So I didn't rip this last plant out. Oh, and here's that's a cantaloupe, but that's not going to make it. So we're going to take that and add that to my compost. And I'll just leave it there. But this is going to be where my brassicas go. So I started my broccoli, my cabbage, and my Brussels sprouts already. They're about a couple inches tall. So this is where that's going to go. Now last year I put them in a little bit too late, and cabbage worms got them. This year I made this last year, and what I said just a second ago, I didn't put them in too late. I covered them too late. So what ended up happening was the cabbage worms had already laid eggs on there, and they decimated it. So I didn't really, we got any brassicas last year. But again, it was our first season, and we were still getting infrastructure set up and different things. But this year, I have these guys. So my husband helped me. I did it last year, but I needed to tweak it this year. So we worked on that yesterday. He cut some more PVC pipe for me yesterday. He's such a handy man to have around, my little homestead helper. But so I'm going to put that in here, and when I'm done with this video, I think that's one of my things I want to do today is I'm going to labor on Labor Day, but I'm going to get that set up, and then I'm going to put my plants in. That way they have plenty of time. It is September. I guess today's September 2nd. Yesterday was my niece's birthday. She's a big old 6-year-old. Happy birthday to my sweet little niece Fiona. But I'm going to labor today, and that's one of the things I'm going to do. I'm going to put those in, get my brassicas in. That way they have plenty of time before it gets, we still have enough heat and enough sun left in the summer to let them establish roots and grow and acclimate before, it gets too cold. And hopefully I'll have some of that, for the fall and over the winter. I do have a cabbage here. Somehow this ended up in with my zucchini. So I have a little baby, it looks like it's going to be a red cabbage. So that's pretty exciting. So yeah, this is going to be my brassica bed. Hopefully in the next video it'll show it up and running and successful. So yeah, not a whole lot else going on. Just trying to get some stuff done this morning. It is canning season. It's been canning season for some time. I've already done some peach jam. I have like 40 jars of peach jam. And then I did a bunch of peach filling for like pies and tarts and that sort of thing. What else have I done? I'm going to get apples. My daughter's getting married in a couple of weeks. I can't even believe it. My youngest daughter, my baby, she's marrying a most amazing man. I probably said this on a previous video that I never thought I'd find someone who deserved her or who was good enough for her, and I do believe that we have. So we're really excited about that upcoming event, the wedding. It's a couple weeks from now. I think 2.5. I think it's 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks from this past Saturday. It's 2 weeks from this coming Saturday, obviously. So a lot of stuff going on there. But after that's done, then I'm gonna go to my local orchard and probably get some apples. We do have an apple tree in the back. You can't really see it. That's my neighbor's. Where that green tree is and over, that's my neighbor's. But I do have I have an apple and 2 peach trees, and then I have another peach tree. Oh, let me show you this. So last year when I canned my peach, it's just because I'm long-winded and I'm just remembering this piece, and I'm really excited about it. Last year when I canned my peaches, we go to our local orchard, it's Laura's Orchard, and their stuff is just really, every time we get something from there, it just tastes really good. It's really fresh, and they're so sweet. They're very nice people, not too far from us, and there's a market maybe 10 minutes from me on Saturdays. That's where I'll go and I get my local honey. I do like to shop local if I can. But regardless, when I did my peaches last year, I took a couple of the seeds and I put them in cups or whatever, just to see if I could get one of them to sprout. Look at this. That is from a peach seed exactly a year ago. Now I've been cutting the leaves off the bottom to get it to be more tree-like. But yeah, so I grew a peach tree from a peach seed, which probably isn't that incredible, but I'm excited about it because it's a free tree, and the ones that I paid for were like $50 or $60. So I did have 2 of these. I planted 10 of them. 2 of them sprouted into a tree, but one of them died all of a sudden, so I don't know. But this one looks really healthy, so I am going to put him into the ground. And so now we'll have 3 peach trees, and we do have 1 apple tree, but I do want to get a couple more of them. But all in good time. Everything takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day, blah 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 blah, whatever. But regardless, so that's kind of what I have going on now. The garden has been great. We've been eating off of it. One of my goals, I've probably said this in a previous video, you'll hear me say it, is my goal isn't like, let's do this great thing. And I don't usually set really big goals. I have usually tiny goals, baby steps, micro steps sometimes, they feel like. Where my goal right now with our food piece is I try to eat something that I grew every day, whether it's watermelon for lunch, tomatoes sliced in on a pizza, herbs in my, whatever. I try to every day, and maybe I'm making eggplant parmesan tomorrow. Maybe I'm cutting up a bunch of herbs and putting carrots and stuff in for a soup that I made, all that. So I just feel like if I can try to, it's a very small attainable thing for me, try to eat something that I grew every single day. it just keeps that wheel moving, you know, it keeps the motion going, and then it inspires me to plant more things, and then the more things I harvest, the more they grow. So it just, for me, that works. That's easy to, I feel like it's easy to do. So that's my goal. And now that we have eggs, we're going to be eating eggs, you know, every so often. As a matter of fact, I probably should check because they may have laid one by now. But anyway, that's what I have going on. I hope everyone is enjoying their day, and I hope you're not laboring too hard on this Labor Day. I am laboring, but to me this doesn't feel like work. You know the saying, find something you love to do and, well, get paid to do it, and you never work a day in your life. I get paid, and the health benefits and the food and the taste and just the mental health, it's so good being out here, just hearing the birds and the, everything, being here with my chicks. It's been so good for my mental health that there's so many benefits. I don't get paid in dollars, but I get paid in a lot of other areas. But anyway, I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you for stopping in Songbird Homestead, and I hope to see you again soon.